Your parents are responsible for teaching you how the world works. And if your parent can't even say this is inappropriate, then like who's really at fault? They are absolutely responsible. Both parties. One party for letting your kid do this and the other party for not protecting your kid from this. I often see so many times on the internet a situation happen that's not good and people still feel the need to take it and make it seem so much worse than it actually is just so that they can do more moral grandstanding. We need to sit, look at this where it is, take a deep breath and be mature about it and like actually engage with it. And if you're not able to do that, then this is probably not something that you should just be taking a look at. It's almost like they want somebody to be so that they can report on it. This is not appropriate. This shouldn't be happening, but this probably didn't need to make it to the internet. Alrighty guys, let's do this. Apparently a big Roblox memer did some terrible stuff. I don't know what's going on and I don't know who the person is, which I think helps give me an unbiased view on their potential bad boy behavior. The 3 Bs. Okay. Here's an example of what they do. I don't understand it. I don't understand. People love this stuff. People really like this kind of stuff. God bless them. Okay, let's just get into the actual video from somebody named Parlo. I'm assuming another Roblox guy. So you got to watch him as well, guys. Watch him as well.
So recently, the Roblox YouTuber called Potemer, who has amassed over 2 million subscribers and is
very ominous music.
Best known for his talented Roblox animation shorts videos that have received tens of millions of views respectively.
Wow, that's some money. I gotta get on that. We gotta get on that YouTube short grind.
As well as his meme videos, has had.
I'm being honest with you. When like they make like $250 per million views. Like they make between $200 and $300 per million views for these things. So could you imagine? Could you do the math? I can't. This might be like a $5,000 to $7,000 video, you know.
Had extremely disturbing allegations come out recently.
I hope you have like real proof because I'm tired of the fake proof ones, you know.
Detailing how he had an inappropriate relationship with a.
Okay, she was 12 and I was 16, but what I mean is, yeah. Whoa, how old is he now?
Girl, while he himself was 16 years of age.
Whoa.
As well as admitting to having with them, as well as admission statements by himself, as well as the victim, confirming how he was emotionally manipulative towards
That's crazy.
them. And today in this video, we will cover this
Alright, here's a heartburn med.
situation in its entirety and cover all the facts that you need to know. So essentially, this all started when Potemer and the who we will call Yellow and
the minor?
An anonymous YouTuber who is marked as Red. All
What's really needs to start with how old Potemer is. It's like very relevant to me. Do we have the age?
Collectively met up in a private group chat in late July of last year in order to talk and discuss about the situation.
Okay, well, so they're discussing the situation. How old were they?
Screenshots of the YouTuber talking about it on a
I'm sure there was nothing malicious, and it was just 2 kids. Both the girl and Potemer have confirmed to me everything. These two had no bad intention with each other. It was 2 kids decided to have something only to regret it. Okay.
A Discord server proved that this all took place in late July when he referenced it.
So you're saying he's 16 now? Is he still 16? Did this just happen?
In chat logs provided in the first screenshot that I'm showing, Potemer and the victim called Yellow confirmed that there is a more than 3-year age gap between them.
Well, I've known about him for almost 5 years. When she was 11 and I was 14. Okay, so they're like 3 or 3.5 years apart. Almost when I was 10, I joined. Okay.
With the victim confirming she met Potemer when she was 10, turning 11, when he himself was 14.
Listen, I'm going to be absolutely honest with you, and I know this is very early on to this. I'm going to be real with you. This is not going to be the super big, sensationalized, hyper dramatic situation that people want this to be. This is the uncomfortable conversation for the people who like to talk about nuance. Okay. When you look at, we're gonna have like a legitimate adult conversation, which we don't like to do. When you look at the actual definition of like pedophilia, there's a bunch of different parameters. One, the person has to be 16 or older. They have to have a persistent sexual attraction to children 5 years and younger. Those are pretty much the 2 big parameters. When you have an age gap like this, like we're gonna say 3 to 4 years, where you have somebody that was like 16 and 12, it doesn't technically meet that mark. And the reason is because, generally speaking, from a mental health perspective, this isn't some kind of philia. This is a behavioral problem. This is inappropriate across the board, 1000%. But in my opinion, the age gap isn't so great where there is a high chance of predatory intention. This person is older. They have more responsibility to act more appropriately. But I really just, unless we see something specific in here, this is just inappropriate behavior and not a condemnation on their whole entire character. This is something that shouldn't be going on. In the real world, both parents would have been watching their kids better, hopefully, to not allow this behavior to be happening. And so, like, it's an uncomfortable conversation, but that's kind of the conversations we need to have, because not everything is a 20-year-old and a 12-year-old, or a 30-year-old and like a 14-year-old, or whatever EDP was. This is not appropriate. This shouldn't be happening. But we'll see what else we get, but this probably didn't need to make it to the internet, to be honest with you. A 16-year-old and like a 12, 13-year-old, not great, not that horrible. It's like, it needs to stop, but I doubt that this person is a threat to society.
And that they've known each other for many years now. By taking into account their dates of birth, Potemer celebrates...
Yeah, 3 years might be significant for kids, but we're still kids. Do you understand? Do you understand the point that I'm trying to make? The point I'm not trying to make is that it's appropriate. We're talking about intentions. Do you think that this person on face value is trying to be predatory? Or do you think it's just like very immature kids not understanding boundaries? We need to teach children boundaries for a reason. Like, that's a thing that we need to teach children as adults. Like, that is our responsibility as adults, to teach children boundaries.
Celebrated his birthday in his Discord server on the 23rd of June, meaning his birthday is on the 23rd of June 2006, because he turned 18 in 2024.
Okay, so now he's 18. So this happened like 2 years ago.
And the victim, marked as yellow, was born on the 13th of...
God, we have to do math. We have to do math, dude.
Meaning...
It's my birthday! Yay! All right, so I did an age calculator because I'm old. 3 years and 5 months. So like 3.5 years is about it.
Is yellow was born on the 13th of December 2009, meaning that between them there is a 3-year, 5-month, and 20-day age gap.
Oh, it was a waste of my time to do that.
So basically 3.5 years.
Sure.
Now, in the next screenshot presented, they talk about how they originally met up in a Discord server called Chill Isles.
Which is fine. I don't care that they met. They probably met. Where you meet is important. If he was trolling around communities looking for underage girls or very young girls to try to take advantage of, that's a problem. Most likely, it's going to be some kid playing Roblox, meeting some other kid playing Roblox. Right? Like, I remember when I was young, I was like 13, 14 playing World of Warcraft. I was playing with grown adults. We were having conversations we probably shouldn't have had. They would like send me porn references. Not because I don't even know if they knew that I was a kid. It's one of those things where, you know what I mean? But they would like send me like, oh, this is cool. And then we talk about it. I wanted to be one of the cool guys. Nobody ever tried to do anything. The internet was a wild place back in the day. Most of the time, nobody was trying to do anything. But sometimes they might be. So we should not be having those conversations. But yeah. I'll tell you, wild time back then. But the point I'm trying to make is like where you meet is important, and what your intentions are when you meet is important.
And
I would hope that they would meet with their parents involved too.
Originally lied about being to remain in the Discord server.
Okay.
However,
that's typical. Young people tend to lie about their age so that they can access certain things,
confirmed by the victim Yellow, when Potemer did engage in an act with her, he did know that she was in fact... And he was...
Stop over-censoring.
...quote-unquote fully aware of it. So according to these messages,
I understand censoring some things, but I feel like this might be a little too much.
She only lied about her age to server members to remain in the Discord server and to keep contact with her friends, as Discord only allows people 13 years of age or older. Now, according to a popular Roblox animation YouTuber's testimony as well...
So it's possible he knew how old she was. It's also possible he didn't, unless we get a confirmation that she told him that, obviously. But...
Well, Potemer personally told them that he was dating a...
Oh, well, then there you go. Oh, wait.
Well, therefore corroborating the entire...
Oh, well, this says that he told you in the voice chat that they were 12. I would like to see some proof that he knew the age of the person. That would be helpful. If they met up at Chili's with their parents, that would make it easier to know, to identify that. Because the parents, I would hope, would communicate with each other how old they are. Because they said meet up at Chili's, right? Or did they talk about like a Discord server? Maybe I misread that wrong, but...
Story. Now, in the next screenshot, both of them confirm that they were from America, and in another screenshot, Potemer confirms that he flew to her state, being Florida, to meet her in real life.
Okay, so let's see. I just want to read these just to get some of the context here. Oh, okay. Given y'all met up in person during that day, it went down. I assume it wasn't a long drive. Like both of your states are bordering each other. I flew to her state. Okay. All right. And what was the date y'all met for the S word again? And what state was it in? Florida. And I think the 26th of July of 2020. Okay. So they were 16 and like 12 or 13, I guess, at the time.
So essentially, Potemer crossed state lines all by himself, independently on this flight.
Sure.
And his parents were perfectly fine with that, which is insane, as well as
See, that's another problem. This is the biggest problem. The parents of both the parties in this situation have never facilitated this relationship with this large of an age gap. Potemer's parents should not have allowed him to meet up with this child and take a flight to meet them. And the girl's parents should not have. This is the primary problem right here. This is the primary problem. If the parents were involved and they knew the ages of each other, both parties of parents are the number one problem in this situation, and not so much the other people, because they're still children. The parents were aware of this age gap. They're old enough to know that these two probably had some feelings for each other, which are inappropriate because of the age gap, but probably not predatory. And the parents should have been like, yeah, maybe you can meet as friends, but you should absolutely not be left alone in a room. This is what happens when like society basically fails you. Your parents are responsible for teaching you how the world works. And if your parent can't even say this is inappropriate, you cannot do something intimate, then like who's really at fault? It's going to be the parents. It's like legitimately the parents. You shouldn't be letting your children do stupid shit like that. They are absolutely responsible. If there was any legal action, it would be against the parents. Both parties. One party for letting your kid do this and the other party for not protecting your kid from this potentially traumatic situation. It doesn't mean that she has a trauma, by the way. We don't need to jump on that. Just because they did this doesn't mean that she has to have a trauma. But this could have been like really upsetting for her. She might look back at it in the future. You know, this could be very confused. This is a very confusing time for people in general. So the parents are like a really big problem.
the parents of this child as well. So with taking all of this into account,
how do we know the parents were okay with it? I'm assuming they met up.
Idea and argument that the age gap between them wasn't bad is completely and fundamentally false.
That's not the argument. I think we all agree the age gap is bad, specifically for how old they were, right? Like if there was a 30 and 34, nobody would care. The issue is it's the parents' responsibility to educate, and they have not educated. So really what we're doing, we're not sussing out whether this is right or wrong. We all know this is wrong. This is wrong 1,000%. Nobody's disagreeing with that. We're having a conversation about how much of this blame is placed onto him. How much of the blame is placed onto the parents. Is this person redeemable? And so far, the answer is yes.
Because Potemer, who was 16 years of age, was completely trusted to be an independent, soon-to-be adult, flying by himself to cross state lines to meet people without parental supervision because he took this plane by himself. And at the age of 16 too, in
why did the parents let him go?
many states, you are not
Why would you let them go at 16?
only able to drive, but you're also allowed to be employed.
Okay, just to be clear, 16 is more mature than 13, but I don't want to get too caught up in the let's over mature the 16-year-old here, because we don't need to do that. The 16-year-olds are obviously more closer to adults than fucking 12-year-olds, but they're still a kid. They're still immature. They're still irresponsible. Still under their parents' wing. Their parents shouldn't have let them go by themselves on a fucking plane.
To also put this into context and perspective too, at 16 you are going through and going towards the end of it and are converting towards adulthood.
Yeah, you're towards the end of your physical maturity. Just to be clear, physical maturity, not your mental or emotional maturity in any capacity. You're getting close to the end of your physical maturity, though.
And at 12 years of age, you have barely even started and you're still in middle school.
Well, you probably started at 12, but yeah, for sure.
Maturity difference is insane and extremely disgusting. They are both in a completely different aspects of life.
They're definitely in different aspects of life, for sure. I don't know if I'd say completely, but yeah, going through boing. There's so many sensors. But yes, they are definitely they're definitely different.
Now, with that clarification,
the only reason I'm being so hard, this is a very serious allegation. The reason I'm being very finicky is because I really, so far, I really shouldn't be dumpstering this fucking meme pager, and I don't want to sensationalize, over-sensationalize his maturity and under-sensationalize her. I want to try to stay where they're at, which is at two phases in life that are much closer They are close, not close enough to be able to form a relationship. They're far enough apart for it to be inappropriate, close enough for it to not be predatory. That's the only point that I'm trying to make. And the parents are the failures here.
Out the way, let's continue. Now, Potemer in this next screenshot admits on his own volition that he did indeed have.
Okay, they stop censoring the word minor. A minor having sex with a minor, what's wrong with that? That's still inappropriate. Like, actually tell me what's wrong with that. Would you rather admit at 18? So this is Potemer saying this. Obviously, he's going to say this because he's stupid. This is where the area where his family failed him. And according to his moral code, at a 16 years old, which is not flushed out yet, or I guess maybe he's 18 at this point. But either way, he thinks that, like, oh, it's two minors. Like, who cares? That's obviously wrong. But why did the parents allow this to happen?
With the when they met up. When questioned on it, he did not deny the interaction ever happened.
Now, after that meetup for the interaction, I know y'all regretted it. How did that go down? When I got home, we called and eventually brought it up and discussed how we realized that what we did was pretty dumb at the time of it. Our minds were just filled with doing whatever. We talked about how that activity isn't meant for relationships that aren't as age gapped as ours. Oh, it is meant for, okay, better relationships. And just agreed to forget it and only remember the fun activities we did. Okay, so they got together. It was awkward. Okay, sure.
He claims that when they got home, he brought it up and realized it was pretty dumb to have happened, and it shouldn't have happened in a relationship with that large of an age gap between them, and they agreed to basically forget about it and only focus on the fun things they did together. This was also corroborated by the victim Yellow, who
Florida, and I think 26th of July. Okay, gotcha. This is just the date that they did it. Okay.
Who also admitted that they did have. She stated that this took place about the 26th of July 2022, which would mean that she was 7 months old.
She was 12 years old, okay. It's fucking beeps.
And he would have been 16 years 1 month old. This would also mean that under Floridian law, this situation could be seen as lewd or which
for sure. And like if he was arrested, which would have been appropriate given the circumstance, they would have kept in context the age gap of the two and the fact that he is still a minor.
Is a felony offense and could mean that Potemer could be placed on a register. Now the conversation continues with Potemer claiming that before they met up, they were super excited.
How were the interactions between y'all before that day? Like the day, like from when, like from met up to that day. Sorry, I'm gonna zoom in. I'm fucking old. We were texting excitedly and booking things like a movie and stuff for us to do in the upcoming day. Nothing weird like blank or anything. Like a healthy relationship with no malicious intent. Yes, exactly. Okay.
And we're planning on booking a movie to watch while clarifying that no illicit images or messages were ever sent between them.
Okay, that's what the censor was. No nudes, it said. Okay.
Is also corroborated by the victim as well. Now, while being asked for why they eventually ended up breaking up, Potemer claims that he was being.
When did y'all end up breaking up? It was a very personal incident, I understand. But me and him were okay. I think it's best explaining it, but you know the message in Alex's video kind of says what it is. It's just the moment that happened at the time. I was being very manipulative towards her at the time and was just paranoid with any guy she talked to, which led to her calling it. Interesting. Okay, I would like to see what that manipulation means. The fact that he's admitting he was being manipulative shows the exact reason why children shouldn't be in this fucking situation. Is that like he probably was being manipulative without realizing it, and now he's got a little older and he's like, "Oh, that was like really shitty what I did." That's what's communicated to me here, just to be clear. I see. I do understand how personal it is, so I won't harp on it. Okay.
Being very manipulative towards her and was being paranoid with anyone that she spoke to, so because of those reasons, she eventually broke it off. The victim Yellow even corroborated that Potemer was emotionally manipulative.
During our first interaction in the GC, I guess the group chat, Potemer mentioned that he was manipulative. Can you remember how he was manipulative? Well, he was usually like emotionally manipulative. What would he do? What would he do when he would emotionally manipulate you? These are good questions from whoever the fuck Red is. He wasn't done typing LOL. He was more of a person to cry to get his way, if I'll be honest. But he's changed his ways. I'm happy for that. Okay, gotcha.
Towards her and would try and get his own way. However, she insists that he's changed now.
Well, considering he admitted he was being manipulative, that's the case.
Potemer also clarifies that he had no intention of dating someone new.
Have you talked to anyone else since, like girls? Yeah, after the breakup, I was desperate for a relationship, but I didn't know what to do with myself. I did talk to a few girls, but I never had any intention of dating anyone new. Yeah, when your partner calls the breakup, you want them back oh so badly, but I eventually just learned to forget about it and move on. Okay, so I guess that the younger person broke off the relationship. Red says, I see, so nothing solid on any other relationships, just sort of attempts at getting a new one. Yeah, okay. So this kid seems like kind of a loser. Gotcha.
And was extremely sad about the breakup, but learned to eventually move on. He also admits once again to
Gotcha. From how I see it, you two met on the Discord server and formed a relationship. Nothing within it was held by strings. You weren't doing it just for sex. You flew over to a location and did it, but shortly after regretted it. Given the age gap and how early y'all did it, so you two wanted to forget about it and move on. Y'all broke up, and you've made sort of attempts at finding a new girlfriend, but ultimately gave up on interest to change yourself in the mindset. Yeah, we've hated and loved each other, but we're still friends and supporting each other through this whole drama. I mean, this seems like... This doesn't seem ideal. This shouldn't have happened, but this doesn't seem like... It doesn't seem like something that's like horrific has happened. I think it seems like this kid can move on from what he did.
Having with her, but claims that they are still in contact with one another despite the drama which is going on back in July of last year, and that he was 18 as of 2024.
Okay, I assume you're not right now. No. And how old are you now? 18. Gotcha. Cool.
So let me make this abundantly clear too. People have the right to know about this situation. Now,
why? I'd rather have this be known to the public, but it's just a pinch in the gut career-wise for me. Why? Why do we need to know about? I don't think that we need to know about everything. It's good for us to know about things that are important, that matter, that are very predatory. We got to make sure that we don't platform the wrong people. But there's plenty of private things that happen, and like, okay. Like, I don't think that we needed to know about this. And the biggest reason is because I don't think that the internet is mature enough to have this conversation, to be honest with you. Like, this is like a regrettable moment in his life where he acted inappropriately because parental guidance wasn't there. He probably regrets doing this. I don't really see this as a reflection of his character in totality. I don't think that we needed to know about this. I don't think that the internet is intelligent or mature enough to have these conversations. It's mostly run by children as it is. Who try to dictate the morals of how things works, that don't have life experience, that don't really understand, that don't even have a correct understanding on their own maturity. You have a lot of times where it's like you'll see like another 16 or 17 or 18-year-old be like, I would never do that. And then like they expect that to be like, oh, see, it was wrong because they knew not to do it. When the reality is like, you know it's wrong because you had good parents. So like, yeah, I don't think that this really needed to be made public. It doesn't really seem like we needed to know about this.
Now, while people close to Potemer have claimed that he's gone to therapy and
I believe that Potemer has actually improved as a person, not because he says he went to therapy, like most somethings say. I don't know what this word is. They do when they get called out. What is this? Despicables? I don't know. But because he has been open with his entire time with his past regarding blank within his personal group of friends and several collaborators before the general public even knew who it was. And to take out of context what he suddenly got caught is wild, since the only way this information was seen as true was on the account of him validating the entire situation. Okay. To me, he seems like he's very guilty about it since he's constantly telling people, he's like, I really wish I never did this. Why would you sense degenerates?
Claim that he's a changed person, you cannot magically forget the fact that he's still willingly engaged in an interaction with someone significantly younger than him.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, this person making the video, probably very well intentioned, very clearly a young person who doesn't have the emotional maturity to like truly weigh in on this. Like, we're getting the information relayed to us, but this person's constantly taking the shots at sensationalizing this. Like, they definitely should have known what they did was wrong, and they should have. But the parents are the majority of the problem, and we need to lay more of that onto the parents. Okay, she was 12 and 16. Okay, gotcha. We already heard this.
He was fully aware of the age gap according to himself and and possible repercussions that came from it, and yet he still chose to do it. And let me just refer to what Ruben Sim said about this situation, because I think he put it best.
Who the fuck is Ruben Sim?
He stated that despite this,
I don't know if he should be unbanned, because 2 years ago is not that long, and it's definitely not just a harmless relation between kids. It probably was. It's really messed up, even if they were both minors. The age gap is horrible. The age gap is definitely not good. He told me that, and it's partly the reason why they broke up. No shit, LOL. I don't know if 2 years is enough to change from being the type of person who's comfortable with an age gap like that to somebody we can trust to be in our server as an adult around kids. This is perfectly fair, by the way. I'm going to put my hat in the ring here and say that he should be banned. This is perfectly reasonable for him to say, like, I don't think I want this person in the server because they might potentially be a threat. That's perfectly fine for you to think that. I have absolutely no problem with that perspective. I don't know that I necessarily agree You know what I mean? Like he seems like he's made a pretty drastic change in his perspective, not realizing that what he did was wrong. But this is perfectly reasonable to try to like just to maintain like safety in your server. Be a little overly precautious. There's nothing wrong with doing that. All right.
Situation happening 2 years ago that doesn't allow for much of a window of an opportunity of change, and someone who
that's so silly, because that is a little bit silly, right? Because like 2 years from 16 to 18 is probably bigger than 2 years from like 30 to 32. You know what I mean? Like you're the mature, like we acknowledge that 2 years is a huge amount of time. The reason why a 4-year age gap of 12 and 16 is wrong is because when you go from 12 to 16, you change drastically. Whereas we don't care about a 4-year age gap from 30 to 34, because 30 to 34, you don't change very much, right? You will change, but not as drastically. So to sit here and say 2 years isn't enough time for a change, well, 16 to 18, I would say, is a pretty big age gap. That's you're going to change fairly drastically from 16 to 18, at least reasonably change from 16 to 18. So like it could be enough time for him to change, especially if he's the one going around telling people the details, validating everything, acknowledging that he was manipulative when and that he should have never done it, but didn't like realize the problem. So like, yeah, I think that it probably is enough time for him to change, honestly. But maybe he didn't. I'm just saying, I think that it could be. How old is Ruben Sim?
engaged in an age gap as bad as that shouldn't be trusted to be in a server with in it, and that's hence why Ruben didn't allow Potemer to be in his Discord server. And while upholding that logic too, Potemer—
How old is this guy? Is there an age on Ruben Sim?
should not be making content catering towards kids or facilitating a Discord server with
well, he's still a kid, so.
in it either. People really do deserve—
Is this guy... Wait, hold on a second. All right, I think this is him. He's 27 years old. Like, what? Why? Okay. You know, I don't even care. You guys are weird. Okay. I just find it strange. All right.
know what happened, and if Potemer really did
We don't need to know what happened. We don't need to care.
change the fact that he wasn't transparent with all of his moderation team members who thought that he was entirely innocent, or
Well, what do you mean? Isn't he the one telling all the information? Why would he publicly display this information for your opinion to be had on it? Potemer, which situation? I want to hear his side on it. Does it relate to Potemer being... I will be transparent about it. I have heard that Potemer was allegedly had blanks with a 12-year-old while he was 16, blah, blah, blah. The allegations were debunked and dealt with years ago. He talked about it before. That's why I would like to speak with him on hear his side. It's something that's very personal to him, thus I haven't seen any evidence myself. I still trust him, though he's a really good person. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. If this was during COVID times, which it kind of was, the maturity is going to halt too there because you're not really going to school. So I guess that could be a factor. Sure.
the fact that Potemer didn't even tell the truth to his own fans is more or less proof that he knew what he did was bad and he was being disingenuous all along.
I think that you want this to be the case. I don't know, man. It seems like you want him to be like fucking scum on earth here for the video. Like, relax a little bit. It's okay. We don't have to go crazy on this.
It's also illogical that people in his server are being banned simply for stating the age gap too.
Okay.
Like, they're literally only speaking the truth here, so why are they getting banned and punished for it?
Probably because this is the reason why this didn't really need to be online. Like, it's now going to turn into people just constantly harassing him about something and not letting him live it down when it seems like he's not some kind of predator. Like, I don't...
Now, to also make this abundantly clear too, I did try and reach out to Potemer several times.
I'm sure he's super open to that.
However, he chose not to respond every...
Hello, okay, so I've been getting incrementally more and more DMs about a certain situation. Which situation? I want to hear his side of it. Okay.
Single instance. And the one time he did reference me, it was in a very passive-aggressive statement where he was attempting to play victim, inferring that I was attempting to condone harassment.
Please don't harass anyone in this video. Buddy, I don't think you know this, but I still go to school, and the people there know about my YouTube channel. Majority of them play and watch Roblox content. So if you make this video, you're promoting not only online harassment but in-person harassment. Not to mention you're doing this because you're hooked up to drama like it's a drug. I can literally tell you are starving for food scraps, dude. You went all the way to not only bend, twist, and tell lies about what I have done in the announcement channel, but share the message. You are sending your crowd to attack me. I do not promote myself in the life of gossip and lies. Okay. You want my head. I don't know. It's not technically harassment or anything. Listen, this is probably true. I mean, like, we've watched 7 minutes of this video, and I can tell that this person is trying to sensationalize the situation. It is bad as it is. You don't need to try to make it seem worse. Like, we are adults. We should be able to sit and read what we're looking at where it is. We don't need to over-sensationalize or under-sensationalize it. It doesn't have to be sensationalized to be bad. I often see so many times on the internet a situation happen that's not good, and people still feel the need to take it and make it seem so much worse than it actually is, just so that they can do more moral grandstanding. We don't need that. We need to sit, look at this where it is, take a deep breath, and be mature about it, and like actually engage with it. And if you're not able to do that, then this is probably not something that you should just be taking a look at. That's it. Just don't look at this if you're too uncomfortable to be like an adult about it. And that's okay. You don't have to want to look at stuff like this. It can be distressing, but like, grow up. It's time for us to be adults and like look at this stuff the way that it is. The internet's run by children, the morality of children. When you get a lot of over-validating comments in your comment section that about this situation, that situation, if you had put your audience in a room, they're going to be like 14. Those are not people. God bless 14-year-olds. I don't care about 14-year-olds' perspective, to be honest with you. I don't really take into account what 14-year-olds think when it comes to greater moral conversations in society. Like, they're fucking dumb. They're kids. Like, they're stupid. Like, I was stupid at 14. You're stupid at 14. You know, like, I'm not interested. I'm not interested at the noise. But because they're just a random unit with maybe a profile picture, you respect them the same as like the 30-year-old that has this. I don't. Sorry.
And wanted his head on a which is simply untrue, as well as him claiming that I was telling lies against him, like my brother in Christ. All the DMs I have are literally statements you made admitting on your own volition.
The problem is you're doing, and we're going to get a little political here, you're doing what like the mainstream media does. You take a factual situation and you sensationalize it to run a narrative, and that's why people don't trust the mainstream media. Like, you're doing that this is the fun, this is the crux of the issue here.
And let me make this clear as well. Potemer decided to continue his presence on YouTube and the internet after this entire situation with the girl happened.
Okay, yeah, probably should.
It wasn't rocket science to come to the dramatic realization that sometime soon, people would eventually know what he did. Okay. He was literally telling people about it, such as big YouTubers.
Well, he's the one telling them about it. It's just so weird, like your prescription. People are going to find out at some point, especially since you're telling them. Okay, well, I would imagine that he's telling them because he feels guilty. That maybe I'm being too charitable, but I don't think that I am. He probably feels guilty about it.
And again, Potemer, it isn't my fault, nor do I bear any responsibility for what you yourself did at an age where you knew better. You seem
okay, if you say so.
Seem like a nice person and have offered words of encouragement towards me, which were very nice and helped, but I don't.
Parlo, this is all just a bad dream. I promise you, you'll look back at this moment in your life, seeing as how you overcome it. Me and you, we've never talked, but I understand that you're, even though, okay, does this have something to do with something completely different, I'm assuming? This seems like this is him giving you advice on something completely different.
I think an online presence is something that benefits you anymore. I don't condone any harassment that befalls you, if I've made that abundantly clear already
you haven't.
Numerous times.
I didn't really get that from what you said. Maybe he said it, but the energy here is, please go harass this guy. The energy here is you want him to lose his career over this. This is what you're effectively saying, is that he shouldn't post on the internet anymore.
But you have to understand that people deserve the right to know what happened.
Not really. This isn't like predatory shit.
Pulling the wool over their eyes regarding all of this doesn't make it look like you've changed. What? Instead, it makes you look like you're actively trying to hide and suppress the truth from them, like what is currently happening in your Discord server.
But he's the one giving out most of the information, so this doesn't make any sense. He's the one telling everybody. He just doesn't want to be harassed in his Discord server about it from randos. You literally showed us that he's the one telling you. How do you have these two perspectives together?
I don't hate you, but I am severely disappointed in your actions.
I don't know. This guy might be actually a drama.
The age gap you have.
This guy might actually be a drama hog, honestly. I'm not like.
Had doesn't meet the criteria for the legal classification of a age gap.
Let's see. I mean, this guy might be a fucking drama fiend. That actually might be what it is. That would kind of make sense. Okay. Interesting. We've got Roblox drama YouTubers now.
But that doesn't mean what you did wasn't terrible, because it literally was of a actions. Sorry. The age gap you had doesn't meet the criteria for the legal classification of a age gap, but that doesn't mean what you did wasn't terrible, because it literally was.
Why do you think that is? Because what ended up happening is that he looked up pedophilia, for a reason. He looked up pedophilia for a reason because he wanted to call this guy a pedophile. And then you find out that based on the DSM-5 that this individual is not a pedophile because you has to be 16 or older. The victim has to be 13 or younger. There has to be a 5-year age gap, and it has to have been there has to be a 5-year age gap. Generally, it's also like persistent for 6 months, but that we don't have to get into that if you like slept with somebody. So yeah, they have to be 16 or older. The victim has to be 13 or younger, and there has to be a 5-year age gap. It doesn't meet that criteria. And so but you have to ask yourself, why do you think that it is? You have to ask yourself the question, and it's because, generally speaking, from a mental health perspective, this is considered a behavioral problem. It's not yet at a point where you would consider it a mental health issue. And we know that that's the case, that it's a behavioral problem, because we've acknowledged that the parents on both sides allowed this to happen. And that's the behavior of the behavioral problem. Right? The parents allowed this to happen. A 16-year-old shouldn't be taking a flight, multiple states over to meet up with somebody in general without parental supervision. A 12-year-old shouldn't be allowed to leave the house with a 16-year-old. So that's that's why. That is the reason why.
Age gap, but that doesn't mean what you did wasn't terrible, because it literally was.
It was wrong, sure.
People claimed you changed, but the fact that you claimed I lied about the situation with no proof shows you lack taking any accountability whatsoever.
I think most people would generally agree that sensationalization is a lie to some degree. It's like a political lie, right? Like it's a politic lie. I'm technically telling you the truth, but the energy you're giving off, it's a communication behind what you're actually saying, right? It's in the words that you're saying. How you're saying the words would be the sensationalization. That would be the lie, potentially. That's absolutely true. This generation is too obsessed with pedophiles. I'll tell you right now. Like, it's almost like they want somebody to be a predator so that they can report on it. That's what it seems like.
You're literally not even making a public statement about this. So for clarification, as this video ends, this video is not intended for hate, harassment, or cyberbullying whatsoever. Okay. This video is instead intended for educational and informative purposes only.
But this video isn't educational or really informative. I mean, it did inform me on what's going on, but there's no education from this. You relayed information but you shouldn't have put any energy at the information. Like you shouldn't have given your emotion here, because I don't think that you're necessarily qualified to give it, just to be honest. You seem like a young person that means well, but you're also like a slop hog. I love drama too. I try to engage with it like a normal person. I think you're young and you're allowing yourself to be mentally manipulated by the drama, and you have too much of a drama slop lens.
Going over the entire situation as a whole in a documentary style context. I'd also like to clarify this video is intended for more mature audiences as well, as more mature themes are discussed throughout this video.
How old are you?
So viewer discretion is, of course, advised. This video as well...
Was that said at the beginning? Why would you say that at the end?
...complies with all of YouTube's community guidelines.
The guy's 19, he's a kid.
And with that being said, I thank you all for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new and want to be updated with more situations, and comment your opinions down below about this situation. And join my Discord server too to contact me if you want. My Discord server is discord.gg/Parlo. And with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Okay, let's see the next video. This is apparently it's bad. He responded and it gets bad, guys. That's what this one is. We're in for a wild ride. I wonder. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Stop this. Then this. He was doxxed. This is bad. He's back. This is vile. It's over. He's over. It's bad. The end. He's done. It's over. It's over. It gets worse. Creep. Doxxed. Wow. Incredible. Okay, let's do the next one. This is bad. This is bad.
So as all of you know, in my last video, I called out the massive Roblox animation YouTuber known as Potemer for his disgusting relationship he had with a girl while he himself was 16 years of age, where they had a 3.5-year age gap between each other. In numerous admission statements he made, he not only admitted that he did have a interaction with this girl, but he can also be seen attempting to legitimize the situation and defend it, even
This is what I'm talking about. This is the out of context shit that he's talking about right there. Like, this one is him saying, I'm a minor with another minor. What's wrong with that? But then he realizes and comes to terms that, like, oh, what I did was wrong later on, right? So, like, you know that he doesn't think that it's okay and that his perspective has changed. Like, what are you doing? You're already doing it, dude. This is what he's talking about, bro. Jesus Christ.
Worse was that he also admitted he was emotionally towards her, with even a victim admitting this too.
Yeah, he would cry to get his way. That's emotionally manipulative. It's like he's a loser, and like he's apparently changed that behavior too. So, okay.
Now, in response to all this drama, Potemer has decided to go on damage control and make...
All right, let's read this. Damage control. It really disgusts and saddens me to read all these hateful and untrue comments. I wouldn't think I would have to tell you all about my personal life, but I now realize that so many of you actually believe it. So here it goes. The incident everyone is talking about happened nearly 3 years ago. I had just turned 16. My mother and I went on vacation, and I met up with a close friend. I thought he said he went alone. Oh, so the guy got it wrong. The guy got it wrong. This guy made the video and he got it wrong. Okay, so I went on vacation and I met up with a close friend that was 3 years younger than me. Our mothers arranged it a couple of months in advance. My mother took us to the movies, to lunch, and an indoor amusement park. We were all together in public the whole day. People are saying we did things that we didn't do, or that I forced her in some ways, and it's all lies. Our mothers were there. There are people that are making videos about me with screenshots that are twisted and taking it out of context. Even worse, are fake accounts pretending to be me and making things up. Strangers are calling me a pedophile when I was a minor myself. Today I'm 18 and she is 15. Nothing about our ages is illegal. I don't know about that. It depends on the state, I guess. 18 to 15 can be seen as okay, but I think it's inappropriate. We are still friends, and she's horrified all the lies people are saying about her. So it seemed like he admitted that they had sex. This probably is not going to make him look bad, because now he's in damage control, and it seems like he's lying about it. But all this has really taken a toll on my mental health, and it makes me question if I should keep doing YouTube. It was always my goal to, and that's the goal that this guy wanted you to do. He wanted you to stop. It was always my goal to make a wholesome content with my younger sibling could watch, and parents could feel safe having kids watch. These disgusting comments make that impossible. For those of you who have supported me and know the truth, thank you. Your friendship will never be forgotten. If you don't believe me or want me to tell lies, I'll see you then. Okay.
One of the most
this is interesting. Are these screenshots fake, or is he just changing his story because people are shitting on him?
Substantiated worst responses I've ever seen, with him actively admitting that he is deleting and hiding any comment that
I don't care.
is debunking, and also challenging his lies in his replies.
I don't care if he's deleting comments. Like, this situation doesn't need to be what it is.
So today in this video, we will take apart his entire response piece by piece and prove unilaterally that he is actively playing victim to manipulate his audience, for example, by using the topic of mental health to deflect away from his own horrid actions.
He probably is mentally distressed. A bunch of people are calling him a fucking pedophile. This doesn't... What are you talking about? You're so full of shit.
As well as proving once and for all that he did do what he's being accused of.
Well, he's the one who admitted it, no?
With video evidence, so let's get into it.
Okay.
So off the bat, I want to make it abundantly clear that Potemer, in his response, literally admits to the situation verbatim. He claims, quote-unquote, the incident everyone is talking about happened nearly 3 years ago. I had just turned 16 years of age. So Potemer literally, once again, just admitted right there to having an interaction with this. He didn't state it verbatim, but he's literally stating the incident happened. He straight up didn't deny the situation whatsoever, and instead he masks the entire situation by playing many aspects down in a very manipulative manner.
We're gonna get like the most obnoxious, over-analyzing, fucking slop generation perspective that we possibly could ever get through this guy. Holy fuck.
He claims that there are quote-unquote untrue comments or lies or screenshots taken out of context or twisted.
Probably, yeah, you just did it at the beginning of this video. What are you talking about?
Yet he shows no proof whatsoever, and just said this to muddy the waters of the situation and to manipulate his impressionable viewers who are all children. As we clarified in the last video,
do you think that your viewers are not children too? Like, who do you think you're talking to? It's like the fucking pot calling the kettle black, bud.
Video as well, by using their dates of birth and correlating it to the day that they met up, being July the 26th, 2022, the girl would have been 7 months old, and he, Potemer, would have been...
Just say the word 12, be a fucking adult.
16 years and 1 month old, which matches with what he said verbatim when he stated he just turned 16 in his first public response. So I have no idea why people are claiming somehow he is unilaterally innocent and he is in the right in this situation, when he literally stated in his own words in his community post that he did it. He even made clear the age gap between him and the victim, which is currently 15 and 18, because her birthday was literally only a month ago on the 13th of December. Now, before we tackle the rest of his terrible response, I'd like to show more undeniable proof that Potemer did do what he was accused of. So I want to bring everyone's attention to someone named Basil, who managed to get in contact with the real Potemer.
As opposed to the fake Potemer? I don't... What do you mean?
Now, if you check Potemer's official Discord server, you can see that the Potemer Discord account that is ranked has the name simply Potemer as its tag.
Wait, why didn't you do this before?
Potemer has also joined my Discord server as well over 2 weeks ago and sent messages in it, and when you check his account, which is present in my Discord server, you can see that it bears the exact same Discord tag, just
I mean, were you able to verify the other messages were him too, or?
Simply Potemer, and it also has his YouTube channel linked to it, with the account stating that it was made on the 19th of June 2018.
Okay.
So essentially, we had Basil screen record themselves, go to the message that he sent in my server, click on his profile, and open up their DMs to once again prove that it's legitimately him. And as you can see in
Okay.
click on his profile and open up their DMs to once again prove that it's legitimately him.
Well, I guess we'll read it. Go ahead and speak your case. Evidence to preferred. I'll be spotty because I'm busy getting groceries. Galaxin. Okay, very cool. Is who contacted my staff. Birthday being, Potemer says, Hispanic heritage. Women like older men. And again, I don't know what any of this is. What about the allegations of them being 12 years old? As for the claims of her giving you sexual favors when she was at that age, there were claims about 12 years old giving you. Gotcha, they did stuff. Okay. Was this the 13-year-old? Age does matter. What was their age? 12 years old. Are you telling me you couldn't control the situation? Why? How come we don't see his messages? Oh, he must have deleted them. Great. Okay. It's not even canceling. You're victimizing yourself hard right now. I'm just laying out what you told me. You're 16. Okay, great. So nothing new. We didn't learn anything new. Gotcha.
To once again prove that it's legitimately him. And as you can see in the screen recording playing in the background, you can clearly see that the Discord tags match, and the date the account was made matches with Potemer's account.
Right, this is just going to be a rehashing of the first video, and the only issue is that he denied it. Then that's like the first one, like, because he's doing damage control. I don't really care. Based on the first one, like, this kid fucked up. He knew he fucked up. Their parents weren't watching them well enough, and they allowed this to happen. And like, he engaged in something that was wrong, but I doubt it was predatory. That's pretty much all it is. Okay, cool.
Verbatim. Since Basil and Potemer share no mutual server, and because Potemer allegedly blocked her, his profile lacks the YouTube channel link. However, it is very obviously him regardless. Okay. Now, in their DMs, it only shows Basil's messages, and this is because Potemer selectively deleted his messages with her as to not have them be used against him in the future. However, the proof was already catalogued regardless. Now, it starts off by Basil showing screenshots Potemer had sent to someone else, which we showed in our previous video. These screenshots show Potemer admitting to the disgusting situation to someone else, and admitting to mentally the victim.
I really wish you wouldn't censor all these words. What is this word? I never blank her, and you're acting as if I had bad intentions. A minor having sex with another minor. What's wrong with that? Me mentally... What are you censoring? This is so annoying. I guess it's... Okay.
Now, people claimed that these screenshots could have been faked, but when shown to the actual Potemer, he did not deny their authenticity.
This is one of those situations where I feel like I won't get heard out and you won't believe me. Yeah, that's the case.
Whatsoever, and continued to talk about the situation to this person, but what he decided to say next was absolutely pathetic. He essentially claims that the situation is quote-unquote deeper than what they think, and starts to play a massive victim complex here, and victim blame.
Let's see. Oh, no, look, the age isn't the main thing about this. There is something I haven't told anybody about the situation that I think you're really need to know. You see, I honestly wasn't really comfortable with doing it. She just immediately grabbed my hand and took me somewhere, and I had no saying. She knew how I wouldn't do anything about it. And she was right. I was speechless, so I kind of defended her if anyone knew about it, because I honestly don't know how to feel when it's brought up, but I didn't really consent to it. Okay. Oh, Lord. Okay, so there's two aspects to this, potentially. One is that this is true. I mean, it's possible, I guess, you know. I mean, she's the younger party. He's the older party. He could have stopped it if he wanted to. So this doesn't reflect poorly on her. You know, you need to set boundaries. But they're kids, so, you know, they're both of them. So they might have, like, an issue with setting boundaries. Or this is a lie because he's desperately trying to deflect criticism because he's getting absolutely disproportionately dumpstered on the internet. To be honest with you, like, I don't care. I mean, like, we're at a point now where this kid's getting called a fucking pedophile for no reason. That's really where we're at. That's where I'm at. So, like, him melting down and, like, dealing with this incorrectly, I wouldn't necessarily hold it to him. This seems like someone who's a big content creator who made a mistake, but is not a predator, that's being called a predator, that's desperately trying to get people to stop, like, shitting on him, is probably ruining him mentally.
Claiming that he actually didn't want to have with her and that she forced him.
He's just making it worse. He should have just went quiet and not responded to anything. He's just making this worse for himself.
Like, it's insanely audacity of this guy as to now change the entire narrative of the situation by claiming that he was taken advantage of, despite the fact that he is the much older person involved in this situation.
It's not even canceling. You're victimizing yourself so hard. I'm just laying out what you told me. You're 16. You had more mental maturity, more body strength. It's not about that. Well, I mean, if they did, you know, I mean, it's not necessarily about body strength. I thought he was going to hit her. I understand what they're saying. He could have stopped it if he wanted to, which he could have, but
and had
no, they're not together anymore. They like immediately broke up.
the mental cognitivity to understand what he was doing was wrong. Also consider the fact that he never mentioned this in any other aforementioned statement when confronted about it before.
Yeah, sure. That might, like he said, maybe he was just trying to protect her, I guess, or maybe it's a lie. I don't really care.
Beforehand, even publicly in his community.
Why is he responding? Because he's still like 18. He's a kid. He thinks he has to respond to all this stuff.
Post when addressing it, he claims
he's learning in real time how fucking psychotic the internet can be.
That no one, especially not him.
Why did he say more body strength? Because he said that the girl tried to get him to do stuff with him. The girl grabbed him to do stuff, and that he couldn't stop her. Basically, the idea was like she kind of like forced it, and it's like he's like, well, it's not about force. And I get it. It's just we really don't have to overthink it, you know.
Him was forceful in this situation.
Yeah, Jack, I think that's perfect. I don't know how to feel about this. He isn't a pedo. I feel like I shouldn't be hearing this, and they should be talking to a therapist. That is literally the exact way that I feel. 1000%. That is the active, mature, reasonable only take of this entire situation. That is what it is. That is 100% what it is. That sums up the entire video in a nutshell. Okay? We don't need 19-year-old kids that are slop drama brained giving us slop drama interpretations of a more complex situation. That's what's happening right now. We don't need that. That's what's rotting the people on the internet.
If Potemer wasn't lying, then I definitely think that it would have been important to disclose this information in his community post, but there is no mention of this whatsoever because he most likely is lying here to Basil. He is not only contradicting himself here, but he is blaming the for something that he should have known better as to not engage with. Now here, as you can see, Potemer once again clarifies the age gap in the DMs as well, and states yet again that it was her. Now here, as you can see.
Okay, so she was told 16, but what I mean is, yeah, I didn't want to do it. Are you going to send these screenshots to everyone on the internet now and cancel me over something I didn't want to do? Okay.
Potemer once again clarifies the age gap in the DMs as well, and states yet again that it was her fault.
She wouldn't let me. Please have to believe me. Jesus, he's fucking himself over.
And she was the one who wouldn't let him get away. Now, I'm sorry, but I find it extremely hard to believe that was somehow taking advantage of a 16-year-old in this situation.
I mean, like, listen, let's just be, like, honest, the reality. Like, kids start to get so uncomfortable. They start to have those feelings when they're young. Like, when I was 12, I was horny as fuck. I was jacking off to everything, okay? Kids have those urges. So her potentially being the one that wanted to do it doesn't take away blame from him. He's still the older party. I don't think he's a predator, but he's still the older party. But it is possible that she was interested. It is possible that she initiated it and that she engaged in it. And it's possible that he didn't stop it, even though maybe he wanted to, because it's an awkward situation. It's all possible. He's still the older party. But again, it doesn't, like, okay. I mean, what do you want me to say here?
Now, I'm sorry, but I find it extremely hard to believe that was somehow taking advantage of a 16-year-old in this situation, especially when Potemer had made it abundantly clear as well.
Okay.
Well, as the victim, that he was the one in this situation, and he held the power dynamic in this relationship.
Well, he was saying that, I don't know if he said he was holding the power dynamic. He said that he would cry to get his way, but...
That he was the one in this situation, and he held the power dynamic in this relationship.
Well, I don't think he acknowledged he held a power dynamic in this relationship. She broke up with him, so it's kind of hard to say that he held the power dynamic in this situation. That's my understanding. And yeah, he was being manipulative. He was crying to get this way. That's not like exactly deep-seated manipulation.
Now, when Basil made it clear at the bare minimum that both of them were to blame, especially...
Basil, you're scaring me. I can't handle this. I feel like you're going to do something bad to me. They probably, what they are. They're doing this, right?
Actually him, even if the story was true, Potemer starts being extremely manipulative and speaking like a victim, stating how scared he is and wondering if she would leak the admission statements he made across the internet.
Well, but how is it manipulative if they did that? I mean, there's manipulation. Like, it seems these things are... I wouldn't doubt that they're scared in this scenario. Again, you guys are calling him a fucking... You guys were trying to insinuate he's a predator. So I would be scared too, I guess. I don't know.
Now, I just want to finish these DMs off with the fact that Potemer accuses the of against him.
I feel like it's just so hard to tell you that I basically got blank assaulted, even though I tried to stop it from happening, blah, 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 blah. That could be true. It probably isn't. I don't know. Again, like, she could have been the one that initiated, and he maybe didn't. He may have not stopped it. That's a problem, mostly for him because he was the older party. So you could have stopped it, or he could just be terrified that his entire career is getting canceled over the situation that dumb fucking kids are weighing in on morally, even though they don't know anything. They don't even wipe their ass correctly, and they're sitting here trying to make it out to seem like this guy's a fucking predator. He's probably not.
And claims that she quote-unquote acted older than she was, and that she knew all of his weaknesses, and that Basil doesn't know what kind of person the victim really is.
This is definitely not helping his case.
So despite Potemer acting like friends with this victim in public, and going around to people stating that their relationship was consensual, as well as his friends stating that too, it seems that he was...
Well, it was willing. I wouldn't call it consensual, to be honest with you. It would be considered willing, because she cannot consent to this relationship.
Privately lying about the victim behind their back to people, which is insane. And this leads us to the DMs today. Potemer has Basil allegedly blocked, and has deleted all of his messages admitting to the situation.
Probably shouldn't have said anything in the first place.
However, by cross-referencing Discord message logs from at the time to now, you can clearly tell that the DMs were real, and Potemer decided to actively hide the vile things that he did out of paranoia.
Yeah, he's not doing himself any favors for this change in his story. It's actively going to make people not believe him and look at him in a negative light. That's absolutely true.
That everyone would eventually find out. You can see Basil's Discord messages are verbatim the same and remain in the same order. You can literally look at it on the screen right now.
Sure, I
so
believe
to
you.
all the misinformed people who are claiming that there is no legitimate proof that Potemer did what he's being accused of, hopefully everything I've shown and listed cohesively proves that the allegations are completely true. And with that being said, let's go over Potemer's terrible response, which somehow people actively believed and are supporting him over. Now he starts off the response statement by claiming...
Didn't we already go over this? Didn't you just go over this? Why are we going over it again?
I mean, quote unquote, it really disgusts and saddens me to read all of these hateful and untrue comments, and I want you all to focus on how manipulative that statement is.
It's not manipulative, because it's kind of true. You guys are taking it disproportionately.
Because first of all, he shows no proof that the comments
I'm going to double speed this, because this is honestly worthless, to be real with you.
made against him are untrue whatsoever. In fact, in his entire statement, he has no screenshots to back up his side at all. And secondly, right under the claim where he states there have been many untrue comments, he sneakily wedges in his admission statement, where he confirms that the incident where he had was indeed real. However, he belittles the situation by claiming that it was nearly 3 years ago, as if time suddenly invalidates the situation whatsoever.
Yes, he was a kid. If I told you that I fucked a fucking 12-year-old 3 years ago, I'm a pedophile that deserves a wood chipper. I'm 34. Okay. If an 18 or a 19-year-old says that they did something 3 years ago, well, that's a whole different gap of maturity. Like 30 to 34, very little. 18 to 16 or 19 to 16, pretty significant. So that's the reason why we have juvenile prisons. It's the reason why us as a society literally gives different punishments based on the age of the crime, the age of the person where the crime was committed. Right? Just keep that in mind. Like, it does matter. And even myself, I've made significant changes in 3 years. Like, I've had my issues. I used to be a fucking dog, right? I met my wife and I settled down, and like now I'm more mature than I was. But this is an actual child. This is a kid, and to me, you're still a child. You're 19. You're kids. You're living at home. You have a lot of money now because you make a bunch of slop comment, like drama stuff. I do too, but like you have this. I make slop drama content. I talk about it, but I don't have slop drama energy. You have that energy. And so like you're probably never going to mature because you're a young person that's like has a lot of money. So.
And two, he claims that he just turned 16 at the time, which isn't much of a defense at all either, because a 16-year-old clearly knows better than to engage with someone 3.5 years their junior. Now, what I find especially damning is that Potemer on Discord claims that his
right, but the parents were with him, right?
response was made with the support and approval of his parents, meaning that his parents were complicit in knowing.
I think Parlo is going to debunk my response by taking everything I said in there as absolute limit. He's saying I'm lying, but I did not have the final say if it went through. My parents did. Or they're saying if they went to the state? Okay.
About this situation. Even worse is that in his response, he goes over how his mother allowed him to meet up with this while he was 16, and so did the girl's mother as well. So both the parents allowed and facilitated this disgusting relationship with this vile age gap dynamic.
So just to be clear, the parents, now that I have more of the story, I'm not slowing this down. This whole entire rest of this video is literal worthless garbage. What I'm getting out of this is that the parents went to meet up thinking that they're friends. Like, oh, these are two friends. Like, yeah, there's a 3.5-year age gap, but the parents are present. They met on Roblox. They're friendly. It's perfectly fine for the 16 and 12-year-old to meet up as friends with their parents. It is a little weird saying it out loud because there is an age gap. But like this 16-year-old is probably very socially shut in, especially growing up around COVID. It seems like it's supposed to be a friendly old thing that the parents don't know anything about. And then they snuck off to the side and they engaged. They should have never been left alone. That's where the problem is with the parents. I'll tell you that. It's a play date. The parents are there, so it's like it's fine. Still, age gap. I wouldn't take my 16-year-old to meet up a 12-year-old or in reverse. But maybe he's like autistic or something and struggles to make friends. I don't really know. They should have been watching more closely is what they should have been doing, though. That's what I would say here.
And they are equally as guilty in this situation as well. The fact that any parent thought that a 16-year-old and a should meet up and be together dating is absolutely disgusting and completely irresponsible.
Okay, so like again, they probably weren't meeting up to date. They're probably just meeting up for a play date. So
it should have been completely disavowed and cut off as soon as it was known. Potemer goes on to claim that what is being said are quote-unquote lies, and that people making videos on the situation are showing screenshots that are twisted or taken out of context, once again with absolutely no proof whatsoever, which is insane because he is inferring to a degree that the screenshots of his admission statements are real, however they are being cropped and shown out of context, but cannot offer any proof whatsoever behind his unsubstantiated claims.
Well, there's really no proof for him to offer. But yeah, the point is that you're taking it and you're adding a narrative onto it. Like right there, you're like, oh, the parents probably wanted them to fuck each other. That's what you basically just said. Now, obviously, it's people that don't have a traumatic brain injury would go like, oh, they're probably just meeting up for a play date through Roblox. Oh, okay. And then the parents weren't watching them to the degree that they should have. Oh, that makes more sense. That's the point.
Now, another lie Potemer claims is that there are fake accounts of him popping up and making up fake things about him. And once again, who would have guessed he shows no proof whatsoever, nor does he reference anything here at all, because he's literally just making things up to further victimize himself and detract away from the fact that he just admitted that the incident he had with the girl was real. Now, next he states the ages of the victim and himself, saying that she is 15 and he is 18, forgetting to mention the fact that she literally just turned 15 last month and he is going to turn 19 in 5 months' time, which would mean at the time of that incident happening, as he referenced almost 3 years ago, she would have been 7 months old and he would have been 16 years 1 month old. And this is just using
the point that he's just trying to make is that it's a 3-year age gap, which it is closer to 3 years than it is 4, but it's a 3-year, 5-month age gap, right? I think the point that he's trying to make is to make it seem more on the nose. When you say 12 and 16, that's 4 years, but they're really 3 years. Still not appropriate. I'm just saying that's the reason why they're using ages. Just to be clear. That's all he's trying to communicate. I don't. Okay.
Using his own admission against him here. I'm literally quoting what he stated in his own response. Now, he claims that nothing about their ages were illegal, despite the fact that I literally went over in my previous video that what he did is literally illegal under Floridian law and could be considered as and is a
sure. In this message, he's trying to say that they never had sex, and then he seems like that's what it seems like, and now he's going back to it. He's all over the place trying to. It seems like he's desperately trying to figure out how to not be in trouble for this
federal offense. Now, the final statement he makes in this first paragraph is that he and the victim are horrified about the lies being said about her. Oh, really, Potemer? Tell us what the lies are then, because you literally admitted that you did what you're being accused of. Even worse was that behind the victim's back, you claimed that she was the one in the wrong actually, and poor little you were actually the victim all along, despite you having the mental cognitivity to know that having someone significantly younger than you is a fundamentally bad thing to do. Maybe perhaps the victim should see what you were saying in private about her and the lies that you were spreading behind her back to people. Okay, so now we are approaching the end of this
fucking emojis are crazy.
cheap response, and Potemer of course attempts to use his mental health as a shield against any criticism in this situation.
People use their mental health as a shield all the time, but like this person probably is having a mental health response to this situation because they shouldn't be getting canceled for this based on the context that we are having. They're not some kind of predator based on, it's more likely that they are not a predator based on all the information that we have than it is that they are a predator based on all the information that we have. But you guys are trying to make it seem like he's a predator, and that's probably very mentally distressing on anybody, regardless of age, when people are online unjustifiably calling you a predator, which is what you guys are doing. That is the energy that you're coming out with this. So
which is an extremely manipulative and horrible thing to do, because it does a disservice to other people who are experiencing mental health problems, because he is weaponizing it to not only deflect criticism, value criticism.
This is not real. You heard somebody make it this point one time, and you decided that you left it in your catalog to be like, oh, you're weaponizing mental health, and so that's demeaning people with real mental health problems. Okay, you're not applying this correctly. You heard somebody say that before. Now you're telling us you're regurgitating that information without any actual intelligent analysis on this.
But also to get away from his own disgusting actions and to garner sympathy from his easy to manipulate children viewers. And then of course he does a dream level love you guys comment, which he makes every time he's involved in drama to try and get some support. Basically,
what is with the dream? What's that? What are we supposed to get at a dream level? Like dream is cringe? Are you just insinuating that he's a groomer too? Like because he has those false allegations against him?
Claiming over here that for those of you who have supported me and know the truth, thank you. Your friendship will never be forgotten. If you don't believe me or want to tell lies about me, then see ya. And let's not forget as well his attempt at garnering more sympathy as well by saying how he is considering quitting YouTube. Like, how do people not see through this horribly manipulative response here? He claims that everything was quote-unquote lies, yet he admits to it all. He claims that it was all untrue, yet I have the Discord logs to prove that it was him. He claims that everything was taken out of context, but he shows no proof himself. His own ex-YouTuber friends have cut ties with him, and
yeah, of course they're going to, because he's going to
have the Discord logs to prove that it was him. He claims everything was taken out of context, but he shows no proof himself. His own ex-YouTuber
just because Potemer did it, please don't attack us short animators for this. We're not related to what's going on at his end. Well, that's true. As a Goldfish mentioned, we have no involvement in this and are no longer affiliated with him. We kindly ask that you stop attacking us and directing harassment towards us. Yeah. So this is to be clear, you guys are canceling him for what's happening. And you're disconnecting his ability to work with other people now because you're deciding to make the moral prescription that he's a predator when he's not. Most likely not.
YouTuber friends have cut ties with him and admitted it was real and private. And
Let me backtrack real quick. You think 7-point proof? Okay.
The fact that people claim that his response is a good apology is insane, because not once did he apologize to anyone for anything for actively hiding this situation from his
original response was good. This new response was stupid.
fan base for numerous years. Not once did he apologize to anyone for making a joke out of this situation, and not
What joke did he? What? A joke? Wait, when did he make a joke out of the situation? What are you showing? Oh, it's on now. I don't understand the meme. I don't really understand what's happening right now. Is he posted the screenshot of what he said and then a meme of Deadpool? This is there's no reason to analyze this anymore. I don't understand what the joke is. What joke did he made?
he apologized to anyone who he silenced for calling him out on his
It looks like he put that meme in there because people were saying that he was innocent.
community post, because he even actively silenced my comment too. Potemer is not innocent. He never was and never will be. And this video proves how everything I said was real. And
you're right. He's a predator forever, and he should get executed. Like, what do you want us to do with this? Like, what do you think the prescription should be?
Potemer actively lied and deceived his fan base and tried to cover it up.
Okay.
So I urge everyone watching this video to share it around to as many people as possible so they can be made aware. I am not letting Potemer get away with this behavior. This situation cannot be swept under the rug or ignored or even lied about. So for clarification as this video ends, this video is not intended for hate, harassment, or cyberbullying whatsoever.
Yes, it is. I'm not letting him get away with this travesty when he was a fucking minor. He slept with another minor. It was inappropriate, but he's actually a rapist. That's the energy of this video. It was inappropriate, but you're trying to make it seem like he's a predator, so.
This video is instead intended for educational and informative purposes only.
It's not any of those things.
It's going over the entire situation as a whole
totally
in a documentary style context. And I'd also like to clarify that this video is intended for more mature audiences as well, as more
It wasn't. Only children are watching your videos. No adults with any level of actual maturity or intelligence is watching your content, just to be clear.
mature themes are being discussed, so viewer discretion is of course advised. This video complies with all YouTube's community guidelines, and with that all being said, thank you all for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new, and comment your opinions down below about this entire situation, and join my Discord
Thanks for letting us know that.
server to contact me if you want to. My Discord server is discord.gg/Parlo, and with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.
Okay, wow, enough of this. Hopefully there's not like another update video that's recent. Let's see. I think we're good. That was horrible. This video's... it's honestly just more cancellations in like the fucking predator like economy. Like that's all it is. We have a huge online cancel economy full of trying to sensationalize people to be predators.